Action.
And our next speaker is Bobby Lee Vaughn, Jr.
Let's get this started. Okay, I entitled this, Dismantling the Cyborgization of Earth. Cyborgization literally is the biggest threat to this planet, the natural planet, in Earth's history. My name is Bobby Lee Vaughn, Jr. I'm a field researcher, investigative journalist, activist, and former vigilante. And with the call to actions. Now, all of you, if you can hear me, if you can read this, you are the resistance. You are the real resistance against the machine. And I'm here to tell you this. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, honestly. Alright, here we see Earth in its once mostly natural state. Beautiful, lush greenery. As we can see, that is beautiful planet Earth. And here's what Earth looks like once it has been transformed by humans. Pretty much looks like it's on fire, because it is on fire. And manifesting electricity in very crude ways, very old ways, that do not meet the needs of real humans on this planet. Alright. In order to carry on this presentation, we need to know what the term cyborg is, what it means. According to Webster's New Riverside University Dictionary, cyborg is a cybernetic organism. Take the CYB from cybernetic and the ORG from organism and you get cyborg. The definition is a person who has vital bodily processes controlled by cybernetically operated devices. Earth currently could be considered a cyborg due to humans' interaction and industrial civilization. We literally penetrate the Earth to mine resources that we need to meet our own needs, and we completely throw out Earth's needs. That is industrial civilization. Okay. A human example of cyborg type of implants would be a pacemaker for the heart, cochlear, ear implant for hearing, and artificial eyesight, as we've seen people have received artificial eyeballs. Now, we move on to the most disturbing part. The brain-computer interface, brain-stimulating microprocessors, aka brain chips. And one example of this, I will read to you. The company Cyberkinetics implemented upon a limited amount of individuals during test trials their system known as BrainGate. This implementation is an invasive as opposed to non-invasive. Non-invasive is outside of the skull. Invasive is going directly into the brain. Invasive brain-computer interface system that allows one to control a multitude of electronics via a microelectrode array that usually has 100 tiny electrodes pricked into a certain part of the brain. Microelectrode array that connects to a mating connector that houses conductors, which is then strung to a small computing module that sends brain signals to a computer or other type of electronic device, including robots or other various types of robotics. This remote control, therefore, is thought controlled. The company Cyberkinetics was later bought out, as well as a trademark named BrainGate. The new entity is under the name the BrainGate Company, which is and has continued to do and research these type of implementations, as well as progress this type of technology. But that's where we draw the line. This is where we draw the line, right here. Alright, here is a patent, BrainGate's patent. Here's just a drawing of the implant, one of their older implants. As you can see, the patent application, December 22nd, 2005. There's the U.S. patent approval in the United States. So we can see here is the conductor with various type of conducting pieces within. Usually a gold wire because it is the most conductive element on Earth, besides platinum, I guess. Connected to the microelectrode array that usually has about between 90 and 100 needle-like pricks that go directly into a certain part of the brain's tissue. And here we can see the screws, the actual hardware besides. Sorry about that. So you see the screws that do screw into the cranium. This is actually screwed into the head. So the individuals that receive these would have to be really careful about making quick movements because it literally could be ripped out of their skull. Here's a dummy version of what it looks like. Right here you can see the conductor that holds the conductors, the mating area, the female and male ends that screw directly into the brain. And this cord right here connects to a processing device that sends signals to a main computer that then computes the information that's given. It can either receive or give information to the brain. And that is a very large crude model, and here's a drawing of what it would look like, what it does look like. You can see this person, here's a little computing module that sends information to the computer, is learning how to control the arrow, a mouse arrow, using his dots. Here is a kind of clear view of what it looks like. Here we have the male end of the screw, may I say, or and here's the gold wire that goes directly into a certain part of the brain, that stimulates that part of the brain. Okay. To me, having a post permanently placed on the brain into the skull is quite weird, I guess you could say, and very unnatural. Okay, and of course these individuals would not be able to live a regular life because they would have to spend the rest of their lives being research subjects for this new technology. But we're not letting this carry on anymore. Here's a rather grim drawing of what it looks like. You see the post right here going directly into the brain. The microelectrode array, they use Utah arrays is the standard type of microelectrode arrays you can see here. Now let's go ahead and read what it says here. Well, there's a size comparison. Sensor implanted in brain. A chip about the size of a contact lens containing 100 electrodes is implanted on the surface of the brain's precentral gyrus, which controls hand and arm movement. But that's for this particular installation. You can put this in any different part of the brain. You can even literally put as many of these into the skull, into the brain, as they want to do, for different purposes. A tiny wire connects a chip to a small pedestal secured to the skull by screws. A cable connects the pedestal to a computer. And of course they use the excuse of medical research to cure certain diseases that were once thought to be incurable, like Parkinson's, dementia, patients like that, people that their family have just thrown out and submitted to hospitals or pretty much to just become clinical research subjects. Okay, and I will show you all a video on the brain gate. system.
You're watching the most advanced brain-machine interface in action. Kathy Hutchinson is paralysed and unable to speak, but just by thinking she's able to control the movements of this robotic arm and drink her morning coffee. She's part of a pioneering study run by researchers at Brown University in the US.
People who are paralyzed have their brain disconnected from their body, so they're not able to go out and do everyday things that you and I can do, like reach for a glass of water or scratch your nose. And I think many of us don't realize how debilitating it is, especially for people who have the severest forms of paralysis, that's called tetraplegia, where they can't move their arms and legs because there's been damage to the spinal cord or a stroke that's cut the pathway from the brain to the spinal cord. So our idea is to bypass that damaged nervous system and go directly from the brain to the outside world, so the brain signals can not control muscles but control machines or devices like a computer or a robotic limb.
The trial is called BrainGate. The team announced their first success in 2006. Matt Nagel was left paralysed in all 4 limbs after he was stabbed, but using the BrainGate system, he could control a cursor on a computer screen with his thoughts.
I'm going to open the first email, which says congrats. It says you are doing a great job. Next, I'm going to open the second email, which states hi there. It says hi, we'll talk soon. Now I'm going to the exit. Next, I'm going to paint the circle.
This kind of brain-machine system has been tested before in monkeys. The BrainGate studies show that it works in humans too. So how exactly does it work?
There are 3 main components to any brain-machine interface or brain-computer interface. There's a sensor, there's a decoder, and there's a assistive technology.
The sensor is a tiny array of electrodes connected to a bundle of gold wires. It's implanted in the patient's motor cortex, the part of the brain that commands body movements. The brain activity recorded by the sensor is relayed to a computer, the decoder, and that then instructs the assistive technology. A cursor is one thing, but an arm is quite another.
There's really a big challenge in moving a cursor on a screen, which sort of slides around in just 2 dimensions really on a flat surface, to controlling something as sophisticated as a robotic arm that has a hand and an elbow and a shoulder and can virtually move around anywhere.
To design the arm, the BrainGate team worked with robotics experts in the US and Germany. One big challenge, because no one wants a clumsy robot, was to make it react to its environment. So when it collides with a target, the bottle, it grabs it. But when there's an unexpected collision, it stops moving and enters safety mode. Eventually, the researchers hope to build an arm that works as smoothly as a real one and can cope with more complicated tasks like brushing teeth. They'd also like to make a wireless version, so the device doesn't need to be plugged directly into the patient's head. But for now, they're celebrating their progress with Kathy.
All of us were standing in awe, more or less, because we were watching her drinking the coffee, and it was really such a stunning scene.
That was a special moment for all of us. It was a magic moment. In the nearly 15 years before that event, every time she wanted to take a drink of something, a caregiver would need to place the cup or the bottle into a holder that would be placed near her wheelchair, position that bottle just right. To see her with that robotic arm reach out and pick up that cup of coffee, serve herself that coffee for the first time in nearly 15 years, it was an incredible moment.
Okay, that is the video, and I could see possible good implications of that if a subject, well, they're actually a person in the crude medical community, they consider those people subjects. But if this person actually wanted to do that, it would be a different story than someone having their family members, or someone's family members, signing them up for that, because they can't, and they don't have the possibility to sign themselves up for it. That's where it gets really, really nasty. Plus, we have defense agencies starting to use this technology, which they've been doing since well before I was born, for war purposes, to create mind-controlled super soldiers and mind-controlled individuals to carry out certain tasks to meet a fat cat's agenda, really. Okay, and here is a newer, smaller version of BrainGate that they are working on, BrainGate 2. You can see their website at braingate2.org, which I highly recommend looking at. It is a wireless, ultra-low power, broadband neural recording microsystem that takes radio frequency into the brain and gives information out. So you have to think, if it's receiving radio frequency, it could be receiving radio frequency that could cause this person to, just like I said, carry out a certain task, go into a certain altar, really for war purposes. And as we've seen, DARPA is grasping this. Anyways, quote from BrainGate 2. Wrong button. We have built a wireless implantable microelectronic device for transmitting cortical signals transcutaneously. The device is aimed at interfacing a microelectrode array cortical to an external computer for neural control applications. Our implantable microsystem enables presently 16-channel broadband neural recording in a non-human primate. Yeah, right. They should actually just take out the non, and they would be actually correct. They don't want to admit that they're doing this on human subjects. Primate's brain, by converting these signals to a digital stream of infrared light pulses for transmission through the skin. The implantable unit employs a flexible polymer substrate onto which we have integrated ultra-low power amplification with analog multiplexing, an analog digital converter, a low power digital controller chip, and infrared telemetry. The scalable 16-channel microsystem can employ any of several modalities of power supply, including via radio frequency by induction or infrared light via a photovoltaic converter. As of today, the implant has been tested as a subchronic unit in non-human primates. Yeah, right? Approximately 1 year, yielding robust spike in broadband neural data on all available channels. Okay, and as you can see, this is quite small, really smaller than a nose strip people use for sinus trouble, implanted directly into the brain. And this was a few years ago, and as we've seen how fast technology, quote, evolves, these literally probably are the size of a grain of pepper, just like the Hitachi chip. Okay, and this is from the BrainGate 2's website, and as proof of who wants to put their hand in the bag, we can see all the research supported and funded by DARPA. Of course, they just couldn't keep their greedy hands out of it. They just can't. It angers me. All right, let's move on to something else here. Nanostructures for brain augmentation. Brain augmentation. I will pull up a document for you and read something from this. Not much, just a couple things. All right. This is, well, Frontiers. This is from June of 2014. Frontiers in Systems Neuroscience. Nanostructures. Nanostructures. A platform for brain repair and augmentation. Not just brain repair, but brain repair number one, and number two, yeah, for just brain augmentation. Okay. Okay, Department of Chemical Engineering, Material Sciences, Department of Nanotech, Romania, USA, Iran is in here at the US, which doesn't surprise me at all. Okay, I'll just go ahead and read this that I have highlighted. Nanoscale structures have been at the core of research efforts dealing with integration of nanotechnology into novel electronic devices for the last decade. Because the size of nanomaterials is of the same order of magnitude as biomolecules, these materials are valuable tools for nanoscale manipulation in a broad range of neurobiological systems. Notice the word manipulation of neurobiological systems. For instance, the unique electrical and optical properties of nanowires, nanotubes, and nanocables with vertical orientation assembled in nanoscale arrays have been used in many device applications such as sensors that hold the potential to augment brain functions. However, the challenge in creating nanowires, nanotubes, or nanocables array-based sensors lies in making individual electrical connections fitting both the features of the brain and of the nanostructures. So what they would do is they would use the brain project, completely upload all the information they can from subjects into computer code to figure out how this certain part of the brain can be manipulated to how they want to manipulate an individual and create a physical nanostructure to carry out that duty. Just scroll down here for a sec. Read to you just part of this introduction. Neuronanotechnology, NNT, is an emerging approach in science and engineering not only to assess the unique properties, structures, and functions of brain circuits, but also to manipulate or to heal damaged neural circuits. Notice how these are separated by the word or, but also to manipulate or to heal damaged neural circuits. So their goal is not to heal damaged neural circuits, although some individuals probably are doing that research, but there are madmen out there that look to just manipulate neural circuits. And this document proves it. This was from 2014, so this is quite a new field of research that we should keep our eyes on. Go ahead and I'll go to the next slide. Okay. Here are some current attempts at the cyborgization of the planet known as Earth. Not the inhabitants of Earth, but of planet Earth herself. Okay. Of course, Earth did once have its own natural weather cycle. Alright? We know from documents that, here, let me just go ahead and read this. Dispersion of powdered metallic substances via aircraft had been occurring since at least the late 1940s, as documents show. As we've uncovered at a call to actions, GE and various other very large corporations are involved all the way back to the 1940s, and that's what we know about. Okay? But definitely, the manipulation of Earth's weather cycle would be a critical step in creating a truly cyborg planet to inhabit a new race of individuals that are non-human, but cyborgs. Okay? First of all, you have to cyborg the planet. Pave the way for a new race. Alright, and we'll have a look at another document here called Geophysical Research Papers Number 4, Evaluation of the Results of Joint Air Force Weather Bureau Cloud Seeding Trials conducted during the winter and spring of 1949. Okay. As you can see, this is an authentic document. Okay. I'll just go ahead and read to you the abstract. Just give you a little piece of this. As you can see here, Joint Air Force Weather Bureau Policy and Trials, 1949. Distribution is unlimited, so I can use this. Okay, it's directed for geophysical research, Air Force Cambridge Research Laboratories, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Okay, I'll go ahead and read the abstract. The question of the modification of natural clouds by artificial seeding is examined in terms of current theoretical considerations as to the physical, chemical, and meteorological effect of seeding agents on clouds. The results of experimental laboratory studies made in this country, abroad, on the formation of the ice phase and precipitation are reviewed. The results of the Joint Air Force Weather Bureau seeding trials then are studied in light of these theoretical considerations. All right. From 1st of February to the 15th of April 1949, 9 seeding missions were flown over the western slopes of the Sierra Nevada mountain range. Flights were made within a 100-mile radius of McClellan Air Force Base, generally in the vicinity of Lake Tahoe, Nevada. During these missions, 15 actual seedings were made under various meteorological conditions. Okay, and it says here this is approximately 50% success, and from somewhere in this document it says that it got up to about 75% success. This is 1949, and you can see we've had approximately 60 years later. You see what's going on outside now, right? So the success rate has definitely went up from 50%. Okay. Let me go ahead and get back to where I was. Okay, most people do not know about this. There is such thing as, have you guys ever heard of marine clouds, a marine layer coming in? Well, okay, geoengineers are taking advantage of marine layers actually as well, and creating seeded marine clouds, as well as what they used to like to use was the cumulus clouds, storm clouds to seed because they were easy and they were huge. But using marine clouds is a challenge, they think. So, they want to go for it. Marine clouds, okay, as addition to airless first techniques methods using on-water vessels. Literally using ships, and what look like stacks coming off of it are actually the guns, pretty much, aerosol guns. That is a possibility. As we can see here, here's just a general outline of how these agents would be dispersed via sea. This is a close-up of just one vessel and its dispersion, its plume as they call it. Alright, and as we can see here, multiple plumes would come in as to what people who live on the coast think of as a regular marine layer is actually an attempt to reverse global warming. And as Kimberly Schultz says, you create the problem so you can offer a solution. Create global warming so you can offer global cooling. So they pour out their experimental aerosols. It's mostly seawater, but we know it's not just seawater, okay, that they use to disperse, to create a cooling effect. It does create a cooling effect, but it also creates very bad science problems. So, and I know from personal experience. Okay. just added this today. I'd like you all to see this because most people have not seen this. So there's an actual dash view proving that cloud seeding does exist. And we have the documented proof everywhere, but let's just have some more proof. Okay. As we can see here, there's a dash base seeder flight right here. You have the aircraft doing the cloud seeding. Its attachments right here dispersing the aerosol. And this is from a tablet type of thing, kind of like an iPad, except it's a device created specifically for cloud seeding to keep track and record of how much aerosol is dispersed around how much area. Anyways, you can see here, turn the engines off or on, flares, turn the left burner on, whatever the time, everything right here. This is right here. Flight summary. Let me go ahead and this is actually the beginning of the document right here. As you can see, top flight, that's a term used in geoengineering, top flight, not just golf, as flying above clouds to seed the clouds. Top flight. Alright? And as you can see here, top seeder flight, seeding above the clouds. Turn the engines on. You can start the ice. You could create super ice storms. And living in the Midwest for my whole life, I've seen some pretty bad ice storms there. Engines on and off, just like I showed you there. But here's proof. This is from a view of the devices that they actually use to keep track and record of their cloud seeding. Okay, now let's move on a little bit. Okay, what is being aerosolized? Pretty much anything they want to put in the air to have a certain effect on a population or a small population. But as you can see from this patent document here, as you can see, it received a United States patent. This is the electrospray neutralization process and the apparatus for generation of nanoaerosol and nanostructured materials. Okay? If you want, I'll go ahead and read just a little bit from this United States patent. Okay. The claimed invention describes methods and apparatuses, being the hardware, for manufacturing nanoaerosols and nanostructured materials based on the neutralization of charged electrosprayed products with oppositely charged electrosprayed products. Electrosprayed products include molecular ions, nanoclusters, and nanofibers. Okay? Includes nanofibers. Nanoaerosols can be generated when neutralization occurs in the gas phase. Neutralization of electrospun nanofibers, electrospan nanofibers, with molecular ions and charged nanoclusters may result in the formation of fibrous aerosols or free nanomats. Nanomats can also be produced on a suitable substrate, forming efficient nanofilters. And it is my belief that research has been done on human tissue as a substrate and the effects of it when dispersing different combinations of aerosols and nanostructured materials upon a population. Carry on here. Okay, as we see here, another United States patent. Oh wait, that's the same one. Sorry. Okay, here it is. The dispersal of nano and powder agents. Okay, and here's what's pretty important to me. That, of course, yes, this patent was approved. The assignee was the United States of America, as represented by the Secretary of the Army. System and method for delivering and metering powder aerosols. So that's a system for delivering and keeping track of different aerosols being sprayed on individuals. And the United States Army, as well as other armies, not just the United States, have a notorious history of biological agent testing on its population. So I don't think I really need to get into the details on that one. But there you go. All right. Now we're moving into Mother Earth. Really into Mother Earth. Okay. Here I provide a couple examples how artificial intelligence attempts to construct. Yes, artificial intelligence. Or is it really artificial? In my opinion, humans are just the architects for what's considered artificial intelligence until artificial intelligence can reproduce itself. Until it can create itself, it is using humans as its architect to build this world for it. Okay? Examples how AI attempts to construct a new world for itself. And that's besides geoengineering. Hewlett-Packard, one may wonder what happened to HP. Nothing happened. They just have some black projects they're working on. Or they could be considered gray projects. Here I'll provide to you just a taste of one that I got my hands on. This is HP's Project CENSE. C-E-N-S-E. It's an acronym for Central Nervous System for the Earth. Like the Earth never had its own central nervous system. They actually believe Earth is not a living entity unless it is completely manipulated and screwed up to the point of being controlled by computers. Is that what makes something alive? I don't think so. Okay, I would like to look at this with you all. All right, this was a PowerPoint presentation by HP. Although I'm not HP, just infiltrating them a little bit. Okay. So this is Project CENSE, Central Nervous System for the Earth. So the spring 2010. Here 5 years later. I'm sure they have something up their sleeve. This is from the Information and Quantum Systems Lab. Peter Hartwell, R. Stanley Williams. Okay. Again, that's the Information and Quantum Systems Lab, HP. Okay. Allowing Earth, giving Earth senses like it never had them. Okay. Sensing vision, a voice for the planet. Or is it the new world? Okay. Let me go through this with you guys, please. The polar bear can say it's getting warmer. The rainforest can tell you it's being logged. The ground can tell you where the oil is. The highway bridge can ask to be maintained. This is what these people at HP want. Okay? A network of sensors connected to the cloud, giving us the heartbeat of planet Earth. They want full reign, full domination on planet Earth. And I'm absolutely convinced that it is not a human agenda. It is an off-world, what we consider artificial intelligence, that is using people to create this planet for it. Okay? Collecting all information possible, literally. Essential nervous system for the Earth, gathering information and sending it to the brain. What is the brain to them? I think we know. Cloud computing. Okay, as we can see here, they would like to they use impacts on the ecosystem as a way to try and convince people that they need to monitor everything on this planet because we fucked it up so much. Okay? What they want to do is fuck it up some more, okay, while saying they're creating a solution for the planet. Alright? Central nervous system for the Earth. Awareness of the planet. Measurement of impact of everything. They want to give it senses like it never had them. Give it literally cyborg senses. Taste, smell, touch, sound, sight. This is actually giving artificial intelligence these senses. Using Earth as its body. In the name of safety, sustainability, and security. Yeah, create a 1 trillion sensor network dispersed all across planet Earth. A 1 trillion sensor network. You think that's enough? Alright. Raining data. It all goes to the data center. A little cute cartoon image. This is all uploaded to the computing cloud. All different departments of the planet. Here is what they want their sensors to look like. Very small, 1 trillion of these all around the planet, literally bombarding the planet with frequencies to monitor every movement on the planet. Okay, but we're dismantling it. Okay, by being here, we are stopping this from happening. I think honestly we already stopped it, but it's very important. Everything that we do, every chair that we sit in is very important. Every single situation we put ourselves in is a timeline, right? And chairs are very important, and where you stand. But that's what I wanted to get into on HP, if you're wondering what happened to them. Creating a central nervous system for the Earth. Yeah, look at his partner, Shell. Okay. Alright, moving on. In order to have a smart planet, a new world, they would want smart roads. And with smart roads, they would want smart cars. But not the smart cars that we're seeing today. Those are definitely a step into conditioning people that that's what they want. But let's go a little step further than that, alright? Let's go a little step further into the smart car world. Okay? Vehicles. AI would want to completely transform their vehicles. Other than just the typical smart cars that we see out there, I will introduce, if you have not already seen this project, you may have already. Mercedes-Benz is currently working on a project called Project Biome. They literally look to grow cars using genetically modified seeds. Seeds that are less. Alright, seeds that are more cyber than they are organic, okay? Literally. I say that word a lot, I know, literally. But here's what it would all start out from. It would start out, first you need the Mercedes-Benz star. That is a key, okay? And I think other companies, if this was to ever happen, which it's not, other companies would use their logos as the seeds to grow their cars from. I think a lot of them would have trouble just based on the dynamics really of their symbol, so they would have to change their symbol. That's completely off of the subject, but anyways, here's the seed pod that these cars would grow from. Star contains the completely created DNA necessary to grow the seed into a biome vehicle. course, if it can grow, it has to have some organic properties to it. And you think they only want to grow cars? I don't think so. Imagine the type of creatures if the defense agencies got their hands on this technology, which, of course, they would have liked to have. Just think of the creatures they would grow from seed. Literally, creatures. Okay? As we've seen from DARPA's SynBio, synthetic biology project. It's probably very similar to this, actually. Okay, and here, that was the seed. And to step 2, it starts to grow a little bit. Starts to grow some, what looks like wings, even looks like a partially organic creature, right? Looks like a cyborg growing from seed, which it is. MB biofiber grows when immersed in nutrient-rich bionectar in the nursery. A nursery, and they use the term nursery to kind of pull us in, like, okay, they're housing infants. Like, okay, these cyborg creatures that they're growing in a lab are babies too, right? They have to be grown in a nursery and bionectar. Okay, stage 3, the form begins to take shape within hours, growing according to the Mercedes DNA. And I believe that through the Human Genome Project, they definitely look to integrate mechanical parts and human organic tissue in growing their own. This is just an example of the cars. Okay. Lightweight body develops in 1 day. This kind of looks like a type of hovercraft. And if they had their way, they would probably be able to stop the growth process to meet certain people's needs. So everything with these cars is completely customizable at the DNA level. You buy you pretty much customize the DNA to meet your specific needs, and then they grow it. Okay? Alright. Interior materials are grown to have high quality textures to suit the individuality of the owner, yet are fully compostable. Okay? Of the owner, of the scientist, owner and or scientist. And here's what the final project would look like. This is the fully mature biome. It's grown from two seeds actually. The interior is grown from 1, the exterior 2. Completely customizable before it's even grown. Okay, and this is the Mercedes-Benz Biome project. Here we can see it in its bionectar nursery. You can see nearly fully mature cars being grown beside each other. And just look at this is an RS impression, of course, but just look at the look on this dude's face right here. Doesn't he just look kind of mean? Yeah, I wouldn't want that dude in control of growing my car. As a show of hands, who would want their car to be grown? Knowing the negative implications that geoengineering or genetic modification has on this planet, would you want your car grown from seed? And it sounds like a good idea, like it's the green way to go, but it's actually what it would do would completely transform this planet. Okay? And not in a good way. And here's what the interior would look like. Of course, the cars would be hooked up to the smart road system. The car would be semi-autonomous. You would be able to drive it a limited amount, but mostly it would be autonomous. And of course, completely customizable. That's the catch. So that's how they pull you in. They want you to think it's all awesome and glorious, when actually it has a negative long-term impact on this natural planet Earth. Grown in bionectar. Yeah. Alright, here we go. Partnership with nature. The best or nothing. How about nothing? The Mercedes-Benz biome forms a seamless part of the ecosystem, and the ecosystem that they want is a completely geoengineered ecosystem, okay, through green technologies. Most of the energy used to power the vehicles comes from the sun, of course, because they possibly could use photosynthesis. It is stored in a lightweight growing material called biofiber. It is much lighter than metal or synthetic composites, but stronger than steel when it's fully mature. It is grown in the Mercedes-Benz nursery through proprietary DNA. Okay. All right, very similar subject, morphogenetic engineering. It all started with René Dorsac, that he's French. I don't think that was French, but he is French, while researching complex systems. This idea of morphogenetic engineering was first introduced in the fall of 2011 while teaching, quote, the current trends in artificial intelligence course. And as a quote from René Dorsac, morphogenetic engineering explores new methodologies to model and create complex architectures that self-organize from a swarm of heterogeneous agents. And heterogeneous means more than one different type of agents, in particular by development. Such emergent structures can be modular robots, synthetic organisms, or large autonomic networks of computing devices. I just want to read that again. It explores new methodologies to model and create complex architectures. These complex architectures self-organize from a swarm of heterogeneous agents. Such emergent structures can be modular robots, synthetic organisms, or large autonomic networks of computing devices. And he wrote a very, very interesting research paper entitled Complex Systems, Bioinspiration and Morphogenic Engineering, New Avenues Towards Self-Organized Architecture. And what that means, it can, that these architectures, these robotics, synthetic organisms, could morph shapes at will. They have a consciousness already programmed in that could change shape into what it feels, what it needs to transform into. Does that sound familiar? All right, and here's part of that paper. This is Project Grow Sci-Fi. And Grow Sci-Fi, Growing Cyber-Physical Systems. That's what Grow Sci-Fi is short for. This, of course, is an artist's impression of a garden of fully growing and pruned skyscrapers. Using the technology of morphogenetic engineering, they look to grow cities, okay? As you can see, a little helicopter pad right here. They kind of look like those large, very woody mushrooms that grow on the side of trees. This is a fully mature structure right here. This one is still growing. And of course, this would be a smart road taking you into this abomination of nature right here. A skyscraper that grows. Okay, and just use your imagination. I know people here have very vast imaginations on what else could be built with morphogenetic engineering, self-organized architecture. Also, I'd like to point out the communication antenna and dishes at the top that are grown. They would love that, wouldn't they? To grow communications antenna and other apertures. All right, and this is an example of self-organized, swarmed type of architecture. nano architecture here. Self-organized, thinks for itself. You guys remember the old cartoons, maybe Huckleberry Hound, when he just wanted to go out for a camping trip, but there was just a mosquito that was a big problem, okay? And he tried to get it swooed away, but what came back was a swarm of mosquitoes, okay? What would happen here is if these conscious entities right here actually made the decision to morph themselves into a car, they could drive right through a building. And I'm sure you guys have seen The Day the Earth Stood Still. Have you all seen that? No? Well, these would have the ability to completely eat up and destroy architecture and human beings at will. Okay? So this is one thing that we're stopping right here. Also, through self-organized architecture that can grow into whatever shapes that it wants under its own will, we have to look back at Terminator 2, the T-1000, that could morph shapes at will to meet its specific needs for the mission at hand. Okay? So, despite being here, talking about this, exposing it, we're standing on this. Okay? We have already defeated this type of creature and this whole system and agenda. This agenda has been going on for way too long, and we're drawing the line right now. And I just want to thank all of you for putting your foot down and your fist up, because that is what it's going to take to reign victoriously over this beast. Okay? The T-1000 has already been defeated. Thank you. Stay resistant.
That was excellent, kid. You knocked it out of the fucking park, buddy.
Did everybody ever see the